Hello, everybody. This is Jonathan Diaz, TK16890, here with another episode of Under the Helmet, episode number 6, I believe. And today's guest is Brent Chiarello, TD-22071. How's it going, Brent?
It's great, Jonathan. Thanks for having me on.
And how's everything going with the COVID life?
Oh man, my whole life is just Zoom meetings. So this is just another walk in the park right here. At least this one is going to be more interesting than my normal Zoom meetings. So that's good.
Yeah, Zoom's definitely they're definitely making a lot of money during this whole.
They're winning. They're winning the pandemic.
Yeah, that's how I've been hanging out with my friends. Doing anything has been Zoom. I didn't even use Zoom before this whole thing.
I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, good, man. So you've been in the FiveO First 3 years now. You just a little congratulations. You just got Trooper of the Month.
I did. That was cool. I was excited about that. Thanks.
Definitely cool. Yeah, it was fun putting together that little post yesterday. And yeah, man. So tell me your story. Tell me how you got into Star Wars.
Man, I have been a huge Star Wars fan since before I knew what Star Wars was. When I was like 3, 4, my parents bought me the little action figures from the original Star Wars. There was this flea market close to our house, and one of those collector shops where they just sold the figures, freestanding, not in package. I wasn't a collector. I was 3 years old, and I'd play with them, whatever. And then I saw the movies before I could even remember, maybe when I was 5. And it's just always been there. It's just always, been a part of my life. So then when they came out with the special editions, I guess I was in middle school or whatever it was, or elementary school. And so it just kind of reinvigorated the whole thing. So I started collecting all the new Hasbro figures that, of course, are worth nothing now. But at the time, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get this figure and that figure. They're going to be worth $1 million. Yeah, that didn't work out. But it didn't matter, right? Because I loved it and it was cool. So been in there ever since. And then I never, of course, I would dress up for Halloween, or Darth Vader one year, this, that, but it wasn't, with the resurgence of Star Wars, when The Force Awakens came out and everything, that's when, I kind of reinvigorated my excitement about it. Because, it had always been there, but it was kind of underneath the surface and whatever, life gets in the way, right? But then when that came out, I was full steam ahead and saw the FiveO First at Comic-Con, and I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. And here I am, man.
So this is a cool thing to hear, actually, because most of our guys are all a little bit older. A lot of guys I've done I've done the interviews with, and they've been in the FiveO First 8, 10 years. They've been around for a long time. So it's cool to hear someone who has got into the FiveO First due to the newer movies and their whole resurgence of Star Wars. Even me, I was in the FiveO First before. I think Disney even bought out Lucasfilm, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool to hear. That's a totally different perspective to hear. So brings me to my next question. First time you heard about the FiveO First, apparently it was at Comic-Con. So what did you do? Did you stock them? Did you follow them?
So here's an interesting thing. I was dressed as an Imperial officer. I didn't know anything about the FiveO First at the time. As far as I knew, the FiveO First was from Battlefront 2, and it was great, And so I went as an Imperial officer. My friend was Han Solo because he likes the Rebels. Nobody's perfect, right? It was a pretty, it ended up being pretty close to approvable because, but at the time I was just wearing it for fun. I had, so they did the march that year. Where everybody was just walking down the middle of the Javits Center, and I think it was Anthony Palladino who had his bullhorn, and I was just like, what is that, and how do I be a part of it? So of course and every time I would stop, people would stop to be like, oh, are you in the FiveO First? And I'm like, no. So I got home. I looked it up. I checked out what was going on about it, and I was like, that is what I want to do. So I went to the CRL. I checked what I needed to fix because I had like a Grand Admiral rank bar because I wanted the highest rank I could get. But obviously, you can't have a staff officer with a Grand Admiral rank bar. We all know that. I didn't know that at the time. So, I made the adjustments. I got the new stuff. I had to fix the collar, all this stuff. And my entry-level costume was that. It was that December, actually. Comic-Con was October. That December, I got approved for my first staff officer.
And your first costume, which is another weird thing to hear. Most people's first costume is usually Stormtrooper or Darth Vader. It's usually a big costume. So you started off small because you were already there.
That's it, man. I started off small, and I was like, great, I'm going to get in, and then we'll see what happens, right? So I got in, and I did a few troops, and I was like, hey, this is fun, but I am really just here to help out the armored characters. I really want to be an armored character. Right? Who wants a picture with an officer? I get it. It's fine. I would have wanted a picture with an officer, but that's just me. But, so I'm like, you know what? I want to do an armored character. So my favorite was always the Royal Guard. I don't know why. When I saw those guys come down the runway, the ramp of the shuttle the first time, I was like, blew my mind when I was a kid. So I have a friend who's a seamstress. I was like, hey, what are the chances you could make this robe for me? So that's what we did. I found a helmet. I used the forums, right? I did the whole thing, and that was my next costume, the Royal Guard. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
And how many costumes do you have now?
I have 8 approved costumes now, but in all fairness, 3 of them are really the TIE pilot, right? There's the TIE pilot, the reserve, and the IC. So that doesn't really count. I have, what's that?
Oh, I was like, I know, I have all those. And the gunner.
See, you know what? Might as well rack up the numbers. So I have 2 officers. I've got the staff officer, and I have Imperial Security Bureau, ISB officer. I just like the white coat, thought it was cool, so went with that. I've got the Royal Guard, I've got the TIE pilot, and the other 2 that go along with that. I have a sand trooper, and I have a snow trooper.
Wow, man. Yeah, busy, man. That's a busy 3 years.
I've been busy, and at this point, I have to kind of slow down.
Yes. If you're a Star Wars fan, you wind up, and in this hobby, it gets very expensive very quick.
It gets expensive, and I have no room to keep them anymore. I keep my sand trooper at my grandmother's house. So.
Oh yeah, dude, I have all my costumes still at my mother's house.
That's it. I don't have room for them. I got nowhere to put them.
I still have my old room there. I have all my toys, and it's like a storage. Everything's there.
That's the way to go, man. That's the way to go. I all my toys are still there too, but now my daughter is 3 months old. She was born 3 months ago, and I'm gonna bring them over here because I got to start her young, man.
That's right. That's the trick.
It's the key.
The only thing I have here is a couple of things, but yeah, not a lot.
You'll get it. You'll get it all back, and it's all about finding space for it. If it has to go in the attic, if it's go in the shed, I'll figure it out. It's easier to move the action figures and stuff. The costumes are a little harder.
Yeah, I went very hard when I was young, so now I have all this stuff.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm always jealous of those guys who have room to like put their armor on a mannequin. Yeah. I'm like, what is that? I want to do that, but I got nowhere to do it. Oh well, maybe one day.
You got a cool little setup back there. That's cool.
Yeah, this is my Zoom area. Usually my Royal Guard helmet isn't right behind me when I'm doing my schoolwork, but I figured I'd put him there for now.
Very cool. Very cool. So, you've been trooping for 3 years. What is the most rewarding troop that you've done? What is something that really sticks out, something that really melted your heart, something that was really meant something to you?
Man, I love trooping. It's like, I try to do the small troops, right? Like I love doing the library troops. I love, doing the little street fairs and things like that. I live on Long Island, so there's a lot of that, especially in the summertime. And I'm a teacher, so in the summertime I have more time to troop. That's usually when I can get a lot of my trooping in. But I got to tell you, I did my first hospital this year. This was the first. Well, actually, it was last year. Now it was 2019. I did my first hospital. It was Stony Brook, and man, that is some powerful stuff. Seeing those kids and how much they love it and how excited they get. I mean, and then hearing them talk about it, it's just, that was super cool. That was super cool. But I think my favorite trooping moment, that's definitely the most powerful. But my favorite trooping moment came just recently. I was trooping CP Nassau with Chris. That's a great organization, by the way, as you know. And we were doing a polar plunge. And this little girl is walking around with, I'm also a huge Jurassic Park fan, by the way. Jurassic Park is probably my favorite movie next to Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's walking around and she's got this figure of a mesosaur on a leash and she's dragging it around. So when I asked her about it, I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. I like your dinosaur. She's like, it's a mesosaur. I was like, yes, that is what I want my daughter to be like. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. She's just walking around her mesosaur, happy as a clam. Coolest thing I've ever seen. You don't see that enough now in little girls, I find.
No, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, so that's my goal. That's father goals for my daughter. I want her to be walking around a mesosaur on a leash. Thought that was the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, one of my childhood friends, David, his daughter, she's second, third grade now, I think, but he had her started since she was young. Complete nerd. he totally got her on the right path.
That's the best. That's the best. I've been including my daughter in a lot of the posts that I've been doing for the virtual troop and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, listen, kids aren't afraid of these things if they start early, right? That's my least favorite thing. I hate when you're at a troop and a kid is kind of scared, It's like, we try to be as fun as we can, but some kids really get kind of turned off by the look of these guys, which you can understand. But
it's like you said, it depends on the parents too, like what they're teaching them.
Got to start them early. So she's used to seeing me in these costumes as an infant.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be normal for her.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Well, it could go one or two ways. She can either be like, she'll be cool with it, but then when she gets older, she could be like, oh, God, Dad's dressing up again.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm totally ready for that. I'd be fine with that too. Listen, I'm gonna live to embarrass my daughter. It's gonna be great. Either she's gonna be in with it, or I'm gonna do it to embarrass her, and it's gonna be fun either way. We'll get it that way.
That's awesome. Well, I think she can always say, I have an interesting dad.
That's right.
So, besides the most rewarding thing that you've ever done, in 3 years, I'm sure you've done something that you didn't expect, or something that only the FiveO First would have brought to you. What experience have you done that?
Oh yeah, man.
First of all, something that would have never happened without the FiveO First.
You bet. I mean, so first of all, I see all these guys. See, that's why I'm working on getting a
TK.
No. Actually, yeah. Originally, that's what I was going to do, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. All they want is first order TKs. Yes. But I hate and I know this might be a sacrilege, but I hate the first order. But I did like the Praetorians. I thought that was the scene in that movie where I was like, okay, that I wanted to see the Royal Guards do that. You know what I'm saying? Because let's face it, the Royal Guards are definitely better than the Praetorian Guards. But that being said, I thought that was a super cool costume. So I'm working on getting one of those. So hopefully I can use that because, now it's the new Disney canon and all that stuff. So hopefully I can do some more with that. But I did a Weird Al concert. And, the FiveO First has been doing his concerts forever, right?
Yeah.
But this was the first time I got to do one. And I went as a handler because I don't have a TK. I just have the TD. And there was no other TDs who were doing it. So, boy, was that cool. I mean, to go backstage and to meet him and to do that whole thing and to watch the concert from like the back and to see all that stuff, that was cool. Because I was a huge Weird Al fan since I was a kid. And I mean, that's something I never would have done if it wasn't for the FiveO First.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I think I've done Weird Al 3-4 times now. It's
anytime I will do that. Anytime. I mean, that was just what a cool experience.
And did you get the patch?
Oh, I didn't get the patch. I saw the patch. I didn't get the patch.
Well, lucky for you, I have 3. I'll give you a patch.
My man. Oh, that's amazing. I saw that. I'm like, that That is a cool
patch. That's part of the whole thing. Yeah, man. He makes these FiveO First only patches that you can only get if you do the thing. Probably because you were a handler, but
maybe, yeah. And this was this past one that he did at Forest Hill Stadium, and it was like during that heat wave, man. It was rough. I felt so bad for those guys who were suited up. I mean, we were dying, but man, what a cool time that was. Yeah.
Cool, man. Have you been able to do any of the sports events stuff?
None of the big ones. I did. Well, the Cyclones. I did the Cyclones.
Oh, that's okay.
That was fun. But I haven't got. Every time the Mets and Yankees come up, either it's on a day where I have a school event, or I just don't sign up fast enough, so I can't get in there. So I haven't been able to do one yet, but I am looking forward to doing one soon, hopefully.
Well, sadly, it doesn't look like Yankees might be happening this year, but we'll see what happens. But
yeah, exactly. But eventually, the world will be a semi-sane place again, I hope, and I'm looking forward to trying to get in one of those.
Yeah, they always come around. Those are fun. And then hopefully, eventually, you'll do a event for Lucas. Do some weird Lucas stuff.
I'm down.
Cool, man. So, man, what else?
What else? The FiveO First, man. Well, you know what? This whole thing where we're not able to get out and troop is rough, right? Like, I troop. I mean, I troop more during the summer, right? Like, so this summer is going to be rough with. I mean, I'm going to want to get out there, and there's not going to be anything to do. So it was cool putting these virtual troops together. Were cool, but I started just making videos with my daughter. My wife videotapes them. Listen, there I am dating myself. Who says videotape? Nobody says that, but I do. Anyway, so she actually records everything and like makes these little videos. So I'm like, it's like the only thing keeping me going here, because you know, you miss that getting out there and seeing the excitement of the kids when they show up with your whole thing. I mean, it's rough. I hope we get back out there soon.
Yeah, man.
To tell you the truth.
And for those who don't know, tell everybody a little bit about what the FiveO First and what especially us, the ECG, is doing during these times that we can't go troop. Talk a little bit about the virtual troop. Yeah,
man. So virtual troop. If you haven't checked it out, anybody watching this right now, you got to check it out. The next one is this coming Saturday. And it is, I mean, guys from the whole Garrison get together. They make videos of themselves doing all sorts of wacky stuff in their outfits, and it's just a way for us to kind of try to connect with the fan base. And the last one that we did was super successful. It was a lot of fun. I think I posted 3 videos. Chris posted a whole music video.
Oh yeah, man, he definitely outdid himself with that one.
Right? Like, what was that? I was floored, and he did the whole tune. He did the whole thing, the whole 5-minute song. I couldn't believe it. It's super cool, but it's so fun, and I shared it with everybody, and so many people got a kick out of it. So if people are looking for something fun to do, come check out the virtual troop, the ECG virtual troop on Facebook. It's going to be Saturday. It's all day, and there's just videos and all sorts of fun stuff, and everything that we do is for charity. So please come check it out. And support the charity that we're doing this time, because especially now in these times, with people losing their jobs and this and that, we need to give back as much as we can. So in the ECG, we give back the best way we know how. We suit up and we do some fun stuff for people to check out.
And I'm not sure when this will be up. This video, it might be up when
that's true. It might be after the troop. I bet there will be another one, people. So if you missed the second one, watch out for the third one, because it's coming.
And all the links to the things we couldn't remember right now will be in the description or bio of this.
Nice.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this and giving people a little bit of insight of the people behind the helmet in all these crazy Star Wars costumes.
That's us, and then we'll see you guys. We'll see you all out there. It'll be us under the helmet. Check us out.
All right, thanks again, everybody. See you later.